Zijn stem gaat hard genoeg. Ventilatie is dat uit. Ik hoop dat ze niet fucked up opnemen. De venster. Wat is die volume van de venster? Ja, is omhoog. Mijn volume. Ja, zie ik zo.
That's the difference. Did you gallop up on a white horse? Is your white horse out? It's supposed to respect. Baby,
What criticism is that you're a white knight, bro?
what's that mean, white knight?
So I never knew that this gonna be happening like this. Look how it already started, and how the guys acted, and with what kind of intentions they trying to lately come to this podcast. I hope you keep hearing the whole stuff instead of everything will be muted. Yes, look how crazy it is. Good, no, I don't like it and stuff like that. So got like almost a million views from that. Followings, money, and it was the best money that she can get. By showing a true self, and your own manager says that, yeah, you lost your mind. Whose fault is it?
What's that in white knight?
You're white knighting and simping for some.
That's
I can't really believe this.
That's simping.
No,
She gave you the and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
that son of a bitch.
You know why? Because she's a young girl, and I don't think we should hit women. I don't think we should verbally abuse women, especially not publicly.
Kiss her ass. Kiss her ass.
It says a lot about how Andrew thinks of women. To respect them is simping for them, and I think that's disgusting.
Oh,
Andrew's young.
respect. You go, oh, baby, I'm so sorry that me and Brian Atlas. Did he make you cry by challenging your worldview, sweetheart? Oh, I'm
So
so
what I
sorry.
did was, I messaged from her account. She said, and so Brian asked for notes before, and I wrote in from her.
Like, first off, why did you message from her account? Why are you staying in her business if she got literally person is already doing it? Ooh, like, he wants to get over her manager, behind the manager's back, doing stuff like that when the manager knew like this is the best option, or that was maybe the only option. And it's great money, everything. And she didn't even have to say stuff. It's in general. She felt like it's only about her.
Hey, this is Ryan from Pillow Talk. I forget what I said, but like, you for making, be nice, stop being mean to these girls. So that's what I did. I went straight to the man, and
You go straight, send somebody a message and say you fucking you just do this to ladies. Huh? They do that to themselves.
handled it be such. I watched, and you were nicer, Brian, which I was happy about.
You
but
was
then I watched
nicer.
that stream, and then one of the girl, her friend Aurora, this was Avery, her friend Aurora, who's very young, I think she's 18, her phone started ringing when it got locked away, and you like lost shit and started screaming at her, and I said, "F this guy. Anyone who screams and verbally abuses women like that publicly, cute little 18-year-olds that just drove here hours and sat through this just to support you and your show."
Why you say what the fuck? Why in that sentence, like after the other, you can. Wow. Little 18-year girls, like what? What you trying to say? They have all kind of different ages. You have bimbos, you have young bimbos, old bimbos, and brainless, and fatherless figures. There's a lot more. And he got mad, he said, fuck you because you screamed to a lady? Huh? How does that make sense?
You're screaming at
Don't
them.
you see
I
that?
just think that's terrible.
Don't you sit on sets where they're getting by 30-year-old men in the mouth?
Facts.
What? Yeah, that has
But
nothing.
your concern
yeah.
But the concern is, you know what? I told you to silence your phone and you didn't. Right? That's too much. The dick in the mouth from 30-year-old, totally acceptable.
Well, I mean, losing your cool at someone is definitely not cool.
What?
I
What?
want to make sure I got the
No. Wait.
dick in the mouth from 30-year-old, totally acceptable.
Well, I mean, losing your cool at someone is definitely not cool.
Wait, hang on.
Right?
I want to make sure I got this right. You have been on sets. I've watched your content.
Yeah.
Right. Where you say that you've watched these same aged women getting in the mouth. Is that correct?
That is correct, Andrew.
Okay.
I support consensual sex work where they're
Just
their
not-
choice and they're happy to do it.
Just not consensual.
I don't
You
consider
talk
myself
about it.
consensual.
Put your phone in here and put it on vibrate so that you don't interrupt the show.
If you're comparing them doing their career versus a man screaming at 18-year-olds,
Well,
two different.
I mean, also, this isn't exactly like Jimmy Kimmel, right? At the end of the day, if the phone goes off, people go, shit, I sneeze, I cough, there's a homeless guy playing music across the street, right? If someone f***s up, you don't need to yell at them, right? You could just be like, not a dick, right? If I'm getting a in my mouth, it's my choice. If I'm hanging out and you start yelling,
What?
I'm like, bro, I don't need this. Like, you're a loser. Well, why you gotta communicate
Hey.
via yelling?
Guys, if you haven't liked this video and subscribed to the channel, and if you are somebody who breathes air, then I would really appreciate it if you did so. So that's all the people who
Follow
breathe
him.
air out in the audience. If
Without
you like
him,
the video
I would
and
not have
subscribe,
seen this video.
That would be fantastic. Back to it.
I want to make sure that
Yeah, it's
before I
okay.
move to your next
I mean,
criticism.
you know.
Nick,
From random stranger, 18-year-old mouth, fine. Brian gets a little loud because she has to go get her phone. That bad.
Yes.
Want to
Yes.
make sure that we're clear on that.
we're very clear on that. Yeah.
Okay.
No, you know what? It's not that specific thing. It's just abusing physically or verbally women. I don't see.
Yeah, I don't think that
I
what you
think
do
got my
for a
guess.
living. I
Yeah.
don't think what you do for a living can be really.
Well, so he yells at women for a living.
And I don't like that.
I think
Don't yell at men. I've never seen you guys yell at men.
Yeah, which is crazy because
What?
we came in here and you're a very nice guy.
Yeah,
so
you're
to
nice.
see you lose your cool, I don't know if you're playing it up for the show or did you really lose your cool? I'm curious.
Well, so first off, I think you are to some degree mischaracterizing the interaction that I specifically had with Aurora. Granted, we have 2 episodes a week that are 8 hours long. I don't commit to memory precisely every interaction I have. Although I'd be happy to actually pull it up and review it without fully knowing exactly committed to memory how that interaction went. It could have been the case that her phone went off 3 times during the show. If I
More
recall.
than that?
So yes, it would have been frustrating.
Just the back.
But
though.
this
Just the back.
characterization.
That's
Yeah, like
I don't
TSA,
even think
like
joking
TSA.
about it is funny.
So,
Oh God, too much.
Just the way I was raised was to respect.
Did you
women.
gallop up
Yeah,
your
you
horse?
raised
Did you
like to
gallop
be-
up on a white horse? Is your white horse out there? Do you have it hooked?
That's how you look at men that respect
Total
women.
white knight bullshit. Come on.
Bullshit.
Women,
That's-
women are equal to men, right? Oh, okay, great. Unless we talk to them like they're men, then that's too much. That's too much.
You guys don't talk to them like they're men.
Yeah, I
you
mean,
don't
if
yell
you
at
started
me.
yelling at me, I'd be
What?
like, yo, out of here. Like,
Right.
I'm not getting paid for
Don't
this.
talk to
This
them
is
like
my
men.
job.
That's what
I
you're
came
not
here to
doing.
hang, right? And if you're gonna lose your cool on me, I'm like, dude, like, I don't need you.
Yeah, but
right?
you're gonna have adversarial conversations, which
Right,
is
that's
how,
okay.
Which is how the show is pitched.
Yeah.
You're gonna get heated.
So I guess going back to the criticisms, you use the term verbal abuse. So how do you consider verbal? What do you consider verbal abuse?
Like if they're on the set and they're like, "Take it," is that verbal abuse?
Take it.
Yeah, yeah. If they're like
Oh, you mean
shooting,
the-
yeah, yeah.
No. You see, okay. So just so you know, Andrew,
Is that verbal abuse?
no, but
See,
when we're
this is
shooting,
why it's funny.
how it works, just so you know, is it's very safe, happy environment where
Oh, yeah.
you go over what they want, what they don't want, the no's, safe words, all this and that. and then there's always a director on
That's
set.
very nice of them.
Yeah, so
Before they go and cream this girl's face with 8 guys, and then she's going to have that video out for the rest of her life. Before they do that, they want to make sure that they know her no words.
yeah,
Got to make sure. Oh, it's too much. That's one too many, right?
they're there because they want to be there. It's a safe environment. It's their choice to be there, and that's all that matters. It's what they
That
want to
is
do.
literally
Yeah.
where you know.
There's nothing wrong with
I
that.
don't think that that's all that matters.
You
I
shouldn't
think
shit
that,
on someone
I
for
think that we basically outlaw all sorts of behavior that people want to do because it's really bad behavior.
So firstly, they keep on saying to them, well, why don't you talk to guys like this? Why don't you talk to men the way that you talk to the girls? Well, you guys are men, aren't you? I mean, debatable, but for the sake of the video, you guys are men, and they're talking to you just as adversarially. Secondly, I don't know if these guys really think through their worldview very often. I don't think they do. I can imagine that having sex with OnlyFans girls and making friends with celebrities and getting a little section in the club, the ones with the red rope that make you all exclusive, probably consume their thoughts. But to sit there and virtue signal and act like you are defending the honour of the OnlyFans girls is absolutely ridiculous. And take it from me, guys. Anybody who watches the channel will know that I'm nobody's choir boy. I've done all the bad things, all the sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and I've danced with the devil many times. But when I did engage in degenerate behaviour, it wasn't because I was just such a chill guy and such a nice dude and wanted everybody to be happy and free. No, it's because I was mentally and spiritually weak and was a total slave to my desire. And when you're in that state and when your life isn't guided by any sort of duty or higher principles, it's so easy for a man to become, as Joe Rogan calls it in his recent Netflix special, a full-time cum salesman. And just like the male social justice warriors, for these guys, this is just simply a way of selling their product. They get some internet fame and they appeal to the female desire to be safe and comfortable and told that everything you're doing is great and fine and just have fun and be free. And those guys on the whatever podcast, the ones who call you degenerates, they're just insecure and they hate women. And you're my baby girl and I care about you so much. I'm empowering you. Now come over here.
baby girl.
Yeah, no. I've been there. I know the game. They're full of shit. And just before we get into the next part, if you had a daughter in her late teens, early 20s, and she's standing at the fork in the road, struggling to stave off the immense social pressure that comes with modernity to become a degenerate, would you rather her have a 5-hour conversation with Andrew, a guy whose wife and daughters love and respect him, who is an uncompromising Christian and might hurt her feelings, or with a cheap cum salesman? I know what I'd choose. And honestly, as a guy who lost his dad at a young age, I wish that I had somebody to put me in my place when I was younger. I wish that I had somebody who tore my worldview apart and just told me how much of a piece of shit I was. Maybe if that happened by now, I'd be on a homestead raising a bunch of kids. But anyways, moving on, let's watch as Andrew proceeds to extract their worldview effortlessly and clinically. Normally, there's a lot of resistance and obfuscation, but not really with these guys. And after this, I'll break down some of Andrew's debate tactics. Remember, hide your kids, hide your wife, this one gets grabbed.
So do your beliefs and all this stem from...
Hide your kids, hide your wife, this one gets grabbed.
So do your beliefs and all this stem from a religious background, or just like you just personally look at it and go like, that's gross,
I look
that
at it
shouldn't
both
belong?
ways. So one, I would say it's sinful, but I'd never be able to convince you guys of that. I wouldn't even bother trying.
Well, yeah.
But what I can look at is I can look at the societal damage and how horrific it is mentally on women to be involved in sex work, and none of them end up with a good result.
But why do you care about these
basically ever.
people? If they're nobodies.
Because this is the society I live in.
Right, but I don't care about anyone.
Because here's what I would hope. Here's what I would hope. And I would never get it from you guys, right? But here's what I would hope and wish more than anything. That I'd be driving down the road in my shitty car, and the tire goes, and bam, I hit a rock, and I'm dead. My daughters are orphaned, right? And they're struggling, and one of their friends goes, hey, you know what? You could go to this shoot and suck a dick, and they'll pay you 20 grand. And she goes, you know what? That sounds like easy money. I wish to God, before they walk in that studio, somebody like me would be like, no, don't do that. Do anything but that. Work as a barista. Go do anything but this.
Right. But
That's what I would hope, but that's not the world we live in.
look, I'm not gonna debate you on that, but if someone chooses to go into that, it's like, I mean, working at Starbucks is arguably more degrading to your body
Yeah, they can
than
choose-
taking 8 cocks.
Yeah, why can't somebody choose to fit that body?
Well, they can.
Then do you have any moral qualms with that?
Nope, because the body's dead. No one's getting hurt.
So it's fine.
No,
getting hurt?
So
what?
if they walk over and they grab roadkill off the road and start it, you have no moral objection to that.
No.
No.
Thank
I just
you,
want to make sure I got this
Oh,
clear.
shit.
Okay. Me believing in God to use a mental health issue, but a dead body.
Also a mental health issue.
No,
I agree.
Wait. Why is that a mental health issue?
It is.
You
It's
have,
weird.
you have no moral issues with it at all.
Well, yeah, I don't really give a shit about it. I also don't care that you believe in.
He literally explained what he is. So. You cannot make this shit up. Wow.
Because you don't affect me.
Yeah, but if I did implement those morals of you can't dead body because gross and immoral,
But what's gross?
Hang on.
Anal sex?
but immoral to have sex with a dead body, you would say what? You're hurting my bodily autonomy? Like that's too much for you? Is that one line too much?
Hey, we did not come here to debate that people. That's
No, I'm just asking. So let me ask. Can I just ask you a question, dude? Where does sex stop being gross or start being gross for you?
Yeah, so I'm not making an ick argument. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what type of sexual intercourse with a female is going to be gross or not gross,
Right.
or tasteful or not tasteful. I don't think it's really relevant. What is relevant, though, is that to say that we can put no restrictions on consenting sex and saying we do it all the time. For instance, do you think that a brother should be able to f his sister?
I don't think so.
I don't think
Why?
Because it's gross. Yeah, but that's my opinion.
Okay.
But guess what? Someone else is going to think that's okay.
Is it immoral?
Is it immoral? According to today's society, sure, but half the world does it.
Yeah, do you think it's immoral?
I think it's immoral to a lot of things in this world.
Yeah,
are
is
immoral.
that immoral or not?
Is that immoral? What's immoral to you? Where do you get your morals?
Well,
they're invented by men, right? Morals, right?
I-
They're not where they passed
Well,
down to you by
well,
God.
if it's just subjective, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know how you call anything immoral ever.
That's what. So there you go. Like
If you think it's
someone could
subjective.
find sitting next to a sex doll immoral.
So then, from your worldview, then you have to understand what that would mean. That would mean that you couldn't say serial killers were immoral. You couldn't say that child underage diddlers were immoral. You couldn't say anything was immoral if your claim is we just make up morality.
We do make up morality.
Well, then if we do just make up morality, you have no objective metric for which to call anything immoral ever.
That's kind of how.
So nothing anything does is immoral.
It just depends on society's standards, and
No,
right
it
now,
depends.
having hate in your mouth isn't illegal.
So if society says
One day, if they do,
I just
then
want
it
to be
is.
sure I just want to make sure that we're clear in your worldview. Then, if society says that you can diddle kids, totally moral. What do you mean?
That's what
I
you
don't
just
think
said.
so.
Yes.
Wait, why not?
Absolutely not.
Because I can
You ever
disagree
did.
with things too, but I don't disagree with a person taking
What would the basis be to make the disagreement if it's just a subjective metric?
If murder was legal, I still would be like, that's kind of whack.
Why?
Because I don't, just doesn't feel right. Just how seeing a girl take a doesn't feel right for you is a personal opinion.
So can you legislate based on it doesn't feel
No,
right?
you can't. That's why.
Then
this
why do you
country's-
legislate against murderers and kid diddlers?
Dude, I don't make the rules.
Would you?
No.
You wouldn't?
No, because I'm a piece of shit.
You
so
would-
you
you
wouldn't
would
listen to
so
me.
you wouldn't legislate against kid diddlers?
Oh, I would do that.
Okay, well then if you would do that, then you would
Sure.
legislate based on it gives me the ick, right?
It would be based on the fact that a child can't make up its own decisions, and it's
And
a child.
what
Yeah,
did you
but
do
your
with the
entire
children?
basis for what is moral,
Mhm.
you just told me,
Mhm.
is based literally on your subjective metric of your preference of I don't like it.
For me, yeah, we
Yeah.
all have. It's called morals. Like we have our own, right?
So if you have your own morals,
yes,
you say that the kid diddler bad,
yes,
then and you would legislate against it based on your own morals.
sure.
Why couldn't I legislate on this thing I say
You
is bad
can,
based on
dude.
my morals?
I'm not. But I don't care about your opinion, just like you don't care about mine.
Well, no. See, I do.
You care about
Because
my
we live
opinion?
yeah,
But
unfortunately.
you don't know who I am until we just
Unfortunately,
met.
you can vote. If everybody
Sound
just
like
has
a
these
woman.
kind of subjective metrics for what is moral, and it's all just coming from our own personal preference or purview or this or that, then you have no basis to say, one, that anything is immoral, or two, that me legislating any of my morals would be any worse than you doing it. So if I say sex work is unequivocally evil and bad, you would have no basis to tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, but I don't care about your
Then
opinion. I
that's
can
the-
discuss
then
that.
that's
with
the debate.
Yeah,
So if the debate is just Sure, if you and the rest of you Christian populists outlaw sex work, more power to you.
Hey, if you get the job done, God bless you.
So what Andrew's done there, which he normally does in debates, is he's extracted their worldview and just taken it to its logical conclusion.
So then why do you legislate against murderers and kid diddlers?
Dude, I don't make the rules.
And when he does this, he barely even has to give a counter-argument. I mean, it's powerful when he does, but what they say alone is enough to bury themselves.
The body's dead. No one's getting hurt.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
If you don't have a well-formulated worldview like these guys, and your whole thing is just do whatever you want all the time, whatever feels good and makes you happy, rather than duties and ethics, then just a few probing questions like this will allow them to walk themselves off a cliff. And sometimes it might seem like, yeah, people should just be able to do what they want and not have anything imposed on them, and people should be happy and free and eating ice cream.
Y'all gotta eat this ice cream.
But the idea here is that your actions have broader consequences, and ideas can be extrapolated to the point where you can actually see what it would look like on a broader societal scale if adopted en masse. And if your worldview is built upon the notion that everybody should just be able to do whatever they want as long as it feels good and doesn't hurt anybody else, then you actually can't make an argument as to why somebody shouldn't fornicate with a dead body or their siblings. Because hey, for them maybe it feels good. And some of these debate tactics that Andrew uses are actually not that difficult, and they're reasonably simple to learn and implement into your own arsenal. And if you do implement this, then when you get yourself into a situation where you're debating just normies who don't have an understanding of the actual art of the debate, then they will not stand a chance against you. And actually, Andrew has his own university now, debateuniversity.com, which is actually terrifying because it's now like the secret sauce is just on the supermarket shelf. If you guys are UFC fans, you'll remember there was a time when Joe Rogan started to get really popular and Conor McGregor came on the scene.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. The double champ does what the he wants.
And then all of a sudden, everybody started doing MMA. And now it's at the point where you can't pick on anyone these days. That dorky guy who you think you can bully might be able to take you down and choke you out or kick you in the face.
I have a pizza oven in my house, and I roll out the dough, make everything. And then for dessert, I'll eat a pint of acai.
Your knee will dislocate viciously from this position.
And I feel something similar happening with debate, where people are getting interested in it. You guys who watch this channel are probably interested in debate. But it's past that now where people are actually starting to get kind of good at it. And they're actually starting to put it into practice. And debating is becoming more widespread and more necessary as the cultural degeneracy continues. So now these days, you're going to have to be careful because people are going to be calling you out on fallacies and laws of logic and consistency and asking you for definitions. Anyways, definitely not a paid promotion. It would be beneath human dignity for me to ever take a single cent from that complete scumbag, far-right conspiracy theorist who openly says that Australia does not exist. But maybe I'll ask him if he wants to come on the podcast in the coming weeks to discuss pure verbal ninjutsu. And on to the next part now, where they discuss whether or not porn should be illegal.
Is your argument, explain it to him, is your argument the fact that this industry creates all this waste, right? This this radioactive waste known as CP.
The fact that it exists at all, the fact that this industry exists and is promoted, leads to a massive increase in minors consuming this type of material, which then leads to the exploitation of those same minors.
Right, I understand that, but don't you think a lot of things in our society comes with a lot of bad, horrible shit? Right?
Yeah, I suppose, sure.
Like sugar.
Sure.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But you're not out here lobbying to outlaw Snickers.
Yeah, it wouldn't be an outlawing of Snickers. Well, so here's the thing. Most people don't develop a mental illness because they ate Snickers. They develop mental illnesses, though, if they're on the set of sites and they're getting banged. When you're talking about things which are just generally unhealthy for you, human beings seem to be able to regulate their behaviors around these things. Some things are much more addictive than others. For instance, massive campaign from the government to reduce smoking. They didn't have to outlaw smoking. They just did everything that they could to create a social stigma around it, and the rates of it went like this, down to almost nothing. They did the same thing with obesity. They have if they do anything pro-health, that type of propaganda seems to work. significantly well in the population. You do the exact same thing with pornography and sex work, have huge amounts of propaganda saying this is really bad, do anything but this, even if you never made it illegal.
I got it. Let me ask you this. This would not exist if not for men consuming it.
Or women making it.
Or men
What, the
consuming it.
podcast?
Or women making
Where
it.
there's demand, there's market. Where there's market, there's demand. It is $100 billion a year industry, and if this didn't exist, guess what? They would be baristas.
And 30% of it is women consuming it as well. So the thing is that the industry still would exist without men. It might only be 40 billion instead of 100
I don't know
billion.
how many women are paying. I don't know how many they're paying. They get the
Oh,
free
lots
shit.
of them pay.
They get the free shit.
Lots of them pay to
Women
pretend.
cheap out on their.
This is one of the worst arguments made by the kind of pro-corn side, is that if men didn't exist, this wouldn't exist. Yes, it would. Just like if women weren't making it, then there would still be gay.
I just don't understand the, you know, my...
You know what crack dealers say? They say someone else is going to sell them crack. Right?
Is crack legal?
No.
If it was, would more people sell it?
Yeah.
Argument defeated. Over to you.
No. That's a true argument.
Oh, you got the story from it.
No, I disagree.
Oh my God! Listen,
I disagree.
you just
Where
agreed
there's a
with
market,
me.
there is demand.
Yeah, but you just agreed that we can limit the market and the demand, right? Whether it's there or not, it reduces the amount of consumers. If, on the other hand,
What you're saying, if we make it illegal, would there be less? Of course.
Yes.
You can make anything illegal.
Yes.
Yeah, no shit.
Yes, but you can also create regulations around this. That you
So
don't
you're
have
okay
to
with
make
what are you
Wait, so are you okay with...
Yeah, please.
Wait, so wait, just real quick. Are you okay with, or you're trying to say nope?
Yeah, I would get rid of it altogether.
So what are?
But even if
But you're willing to be
yeah, even
okay
if you
with
could
it?
meet somewhere where there's.
So where are you trying to meet?
What
So
was
tell
the
me where
thing
you're
about-
trying to meet.
It
So-
would probably be the.
So here, so I would say, so here's what I would say.
Of course.
I'd say you couldn't get rid of it tomorrow, okay? But you could do some things which would greatly regulate it. For one, right, I'd say you'd need on the internet to upload some kind of photo ID in order to access these sites. That way you can keep minors off of them, period.
Do you think that works?
Hang
Because
on.
I'm as a 14-year-old,
Let me
really
finish.
can do whatever I want.
Let me finish the solution, and then you
Okay.
can criticize it.
All right.
That's fair, right? Next, I would up the age of which you can actually do this type of work, from 18 to somewhere around 25 years old.
Who wants to see a
26,
25-year-old naked?
27-year-old, right? I would definitely up the ante of when a person could enter into a contract like this, for the same reason that you can't go and rent a car until you're 25 years old. There's a good reason for that. It's because you don't really understand the contracts that you're entering into. So this is a big problem.
Can I apply that to religion? This entire bullet points as well? We shouldn't indoctrinate children into religion until they're 25?
All you have to do is falsify it, like I just did with corn, and then sure.
Okay.
You know what? I don't hate any of your points.
Yeah, I actually
Yes,
don't.
you do.
But your
All
arguments
good
have
with
all
me, my
been. Your
friend.
arguments have all been.
Don't
These
hate
people
it, but
are
don't like it.
gross, and this is gross. Not.
That hasn't been my argument.
I'm not mad at those points at all.
I want.
But at what point in
I
those
want
did you
re-
say I don't want 9 cocks in the mouth? Because that was your original argument.
So no, what I'm saying that was distinct, and it was going against something which was said back towards Brian about a cell phone incident. When I'm talking about, he thinks, oh, it's really mean that you yelled at an 18-year-old because her cell phone went off. Versus, but I'll watch her get gangbanged by 8 dudes, even though that's going to leave massive ramifications.
I
somehow,
Bro,
somehow,
dude, if
hang
I
on.
face my girlfriend and you yell at her, I'm gonna be like, shut
guy
the
yelling
fuck
at a
up.
girl that I'm
You guys
seeing.
got to listen. Let me get the point out.
Yell at a man.
then
Show me how
respond.
tough you are, buddy boy.
Oh yeah! Instead of 8 men ganging on one, that's some type of like savage, awesome, epic man.
I'm standing for
But
whatever a girl wants to do.
Yeah,
She does not
whatever
want to
she
be
wants
yelled
to
at
do.
by a guy.
Uh-huh.
To be cyberbullied, then I don't support her.
Okay.
She wants to go get by 40 dudes. God bless her.
So she can consent to go do that, but not get in an argument.
God bless her.
Yeah, not getting in an
know,
argument. An argument's
I
too
want
much.
40.
But I mean, if you fight with my girlfriend, she's done horrible things in bed with me. That these two don't equate, right? I face my girlfriend, but you are mean to her. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be back to you.
What is that?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
But you should expect the same thing from the religious to people who are exploiting women and exploiting men in the porn industry.
Now,
The same thing should apply there.
the religion thing. Back to the religion.
If you're saying because you do this thing to this person, right?
Right.
And I have some emotional investment here, I'm going to do something back. Well, that's exactly what the religious are saying to you.
What do you mean?
They're saying we have an emotional investment in mankind, and we're not going to let you exploit them. That's what they're saying. They're saying the exact same thing you are.
But they're exploiting you with the religion.
Yeah,
You discuss your body being a cup, you're filling with sins, but then you're like, my sins are okay, but I'm going to tell my daughter not to do
well,
that.
you know what an analogy is, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so great. So I can make an analogy so you understand conceptually what I'm saying.
I
Doesn't
got it.
mean I'm giving you the physical reality.
So another significant blow to their entire worldview, especially to the white knighting part of things. These guys do not have a leg to stand on when it comes to defending their worldview, because there is no moral justification for what they're doing. Besides, of course, just do whatever makes you feel good and the consequences don't really matter, and that's about to become abundantly clear if it wasn't already. But to the deeper point, I'm very glad that these conversations are happening on these big platforms, because I just feel like, and I see all the time, that there are so many young guys out there who are looking around them and just thinking, what's the point of trying to be righteous? What's the point of trying to be a stand-up guy? When it feels sometimes like literally everything is rigged against me. I mean, the guys with the big Instagram followings who engage in all the degenerate shit, get all the girls and are on all the yachts and have all of the fun. So why would I bother living ethically? Internet is just so readily available. At the click of a button, I can see some of the most beautiful girls in the world doing whatever I want them to do. So why would I bother having the immense self-control to not engage in that? Why would I bother dating and getting rejected and building myself up to become the kind of man that a woman and a family can depend on when I can just so easily go and get myself off on the internet? Men are getting screwed left, right, and center in the divorce courts. So why would I even bother getting married and having that aspiration when I can just be single and having fun in my 40s? What is the point of putting yourself through all the hard work when you can just have fun, enjoy life, ride the roller coaster, and then die? Well, I mean, I fell into that trap for years, and I think that there is a really clear answer to this, and that is that the life of instant gratification and self-centeredness leads to soulless misery, and when we look around the Western world, we can see the byproducts of this absolutely everywhere. But if you try and reflect the changes that you would like to see to combat the cultural degeneracy that is all around us in your own life, even if you fail time and time again, which you will, at least you'll be able to have a genuine sense of pride in who you are and who you're aspiring to be. So on to the last part now, which is a final nail in the coffin.
Why don't you run for office and then change some shit? Because it seems like you guys just complain.
Yeah, I mean, that's not an argument.
No, I'm just generally asking you. You're an intelligent man.
We wake up.
I don't want to get shot.
Brian seems like
You
you
don't
want
wanna
to
get
get
shot.
shot.
The chances are
I feel like
literally
you might
zero.
wake up like, what am I pissed about today? And I just think life is so much better when life is good. Live and let live. You want to suck it, suck
Why
it.
do you think-
You want to do this, do that.
Why do you think that being chill about being a degenerate makes you less of a degenerate? Like this has always been amazing to me when people are like, "Look, man, the forest is burning down, things are going to shit, but man, I'm just chilling, smoking a blunt. What are you so mad about?" Anyway, just saying, like, yeah, just being like, well, because I'm really chill about the fact that everything is burning down, and you're saying we should probably do something about it. I don't think that that's a really good argument.
I just think you're going after the wrong things.
I also think you just like care too much.
You care too much about the wrong
There's the
thing.
thing is like caring too much because like you're gonna be dead in 50 years, bro. Who gives a f- if a bunch of people are having
Have
sex?
fun, man. We're all having
Conceptually.
fun.
Bro,
Try it.
you just gotta get yours and go.
You're gonna
Fuck everybody
90,
else.
You're gonna make it to 90.
Yeah.
You did one. Yeah, we all
He's
did.
gonna have a heart attack.
You're not selfish at all.
Do
Do you think you're selfish at
Of
all?
course,
Yeah,
chief of sinners.
You gotta relax,
I'm not
buddy.
perfect
Hey,
at all.
let-
There's such a thing, right? It's justified and righteous anger. When things get so out of hand and people are just like, "Oh, look it. Let this horrible things that are happening just take it." And it's
I'm
like,
back
You
again.
know what ends up happening? What ends up happening is
Good, they're
riots in the
tripping.
UK as people lose their minds because they go to a boiling point. Guys like me, we're the stopgap. We're the ones who are like, before we get to this crazy boiling point,
Bro,
let's interject some logic and reason.
Let me ask
to
you a
this.
question. I hang out with stars, right?
Mhm.
How annoying would I be if every minute I preach to them about how they're degenerates and need to find God or whatever and change their job, right? I'm not here to judge you, right? Unless you're doing something extremely f***ed up, like we discussed, CP, whatever, any of that
If
shit.
you have a
Yeah,
vested interest in capitalizing on it,
I have a vested interest in capitalizing on what? Hanging out with
on extreme degeneracy, right? Like that's what your interest is. Or your
This is it too. You guys
but your
capitalize on that too.
The entirety of the
entire
yeah,
this-
the opposite.
But you
we have a
talk
vested
to-
interest in stopping it.
Right, but you bring them on.
Plus, if you're going
What?
to change
Yeah,
them,
how
do
could
you
you
think
think
that I
so?
have not gotten hundreds of DMs from different women who say, "Man, thank you so much. That actually helped a lot." Because I have.
Bro, that's not a brag. Like, if you're like, I got women DMing me how good of a guy I am, like, wow.
They're not DMing me pictures of
What
their
the fuck?
dude.
It's
They're
stupid.
DMing me, "Thank you for the conversation."
I hate
Oh
people like
wow,
that.
man, I really I just some degenerate exploitative shit right there.
I just don't brag about the people that DM me.
So I don't really think that I need to add too much. I think that was a back and forth that kind of speaks for itself, and it speaks to a much larger problem that we're facing in modernity. And I really think these debates are very important, but what's more important is to see these parasitic worldviews that are so pervasive, completely and utterly nuked for the betterment of society and also for our entertainment. Anyways, guys, with that, I'll leave the links to Andrew's Debate University if you want to check it out. I'm probably going to be in there myself.
Yeah. I have not much to say neither. Just follow, like, subscribe for new content. But this was crazy. Hope you enjoy your day.